Hi everybody, it's Lisa and it's time for another Verbling class. It's 10 a.m. my time, which is Pacific time, and this class we're going to be reading an article from the Atlantic Monthly. So some of you have already read the article maybe. I see Lawrence is in the chat and she said that she read the article but she can't stay for the class. That's okay. Maybe you can watch it later if you like. Looks like a lot of people already joined. So if you have joined, please go to the article if you aren't there yet, and we'll start looking that over as we wait for other people to join us. I took this article from The Atlantic online. The Atlantic is a magazine that's pretty popular. It's not necessarily a very easy magazine to read. It's at a higher level, so it's you could consider it academic English if you'd like, because the topics are not just about everyday things that people are talking about, like shopping or music or movies or entertainment or something like that, which is often a little bit easier to understand and is written in a more informal way. So the articles that you find on the website at The Atlantic are a little bit using a little bit higher level vocabulary, so it may be a challenge for some of you, which is okay. I set it at intermediate level instead of advanced, just because I think even if you're at an intermediate level, you can push yourself a little bit, but it may in fact be a bit of an advanced reading. But since we're going to be reading it together, it will be helpful for everybody, because if you don't understand something, then we can talk about it and discuss it, and you can ask questions so that you will learn some new words and be able to understand some of the phrasings and things like that that the article is using. It's also kind of a long article, so everybody will have plenty of opportunity to read out loud, and that will help with your practice of your pronunciation and also your flow, your fluency, how fluid you read. Okay, I'm checking over here in the Verbling chat, see if I need to talk about anything. I don't think so. Okay, I think we might be full. If there is the join class button, then go ahead and click on that. I didn't count up how many people we have here. In the Verbling classes, we use Google Hangouts, and you can only have 9 other people in here with me, so sometimes that's not very many, since there's sometimes a lot of people who want to join the class. But if you want to follow along, you are welcome to do that. I have put the link there in the chat, and so you can go to the selection, the article, and you can read along with us. And if you have any questions, you can type here in the Verbling chat, which I know some people do throughout the class. So, all right. I'm going to introduce myself, then I'm just going to ask everybody to say their names and the country that they're from as a way of introduction, and then we will get started with the reading. Okay, so we're going to do the reading, and then we'll have a little discussion about it. The topic is love and everlasting love, and it's actually written because a new book has come out and on that topic, and so we're going to see what the article has to say about this. All right, so my name is Lisa, and I'm from Washington State in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, and of course my native language is English. And so I'm going to start here on my right with Nazra. Are you there? Hi, Nazra.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Okay.
I'm Nasru, 25 years. I'm from Algeria.
From Algeria. Okay, great, yeah. Wonderful. Welcome. Manal, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's
sorry?
It's morning for me, so I think it was 12 hours ago that we last spoke.
Yeah, so it's 10 p.m. here.
Yeah, it's exactly 12 hours difference.
Yeah.
Cool.
So my name is Manal and I'm from Oman.
Oman. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were from Saudi Arabia.
No, no, I'm from Oman.
Oh, okay. I got
Yeah.
confused. Okay. Julissa, how are you doing?
Hey Lisa, fine, thank you. How are
Great.
you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Well, hi guys. My name is Julissa and I am from Peru.
Okay, wonderful. And Hugo, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Hugo and I'm from São Paulo, Brazil.
All right. Wow, Sao Paulo. How big is Sao Paulo? Is it the biggest city in Brazil?
Yes, I think it's one of the biggest cities in Brazil. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the economic center.
How many millions of people live there?
I think 2,000 million people. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
huge city.
Huge. Yes, yes. Okay, Hazem, how are you?
I am fine, and you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, my name is Hazem. I am from Syria.
Let's see. Okay, wonderful. And Frankie, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great, thanks. I'm from Italy. Here it's 1990. Yeah, you're about to go to dinner.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, and then Daniel, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Daniele. I am from Rome, Italy,
Okay.
and this is a rainy day for me.
Okay, great. So 2 from Italy. Okay, Ahmed, how are you doing?
Hi Lisa, hi everybody. I'm Ahmed from Cairo, Egypt.
Okay, and how's Egypt today?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I was talking to Abdallah earlier, and I told him I was reading about some of the protests. Are you?
Yes, there is
seeing that?
still protests in some cities in Egypt. Yeah, I hope it finished early. Yes.
Yeah. If there's protests, do you people try to stay inside the houses and let that happen, or do people? How does it work?
Yes, some people, some just youth and guys who shared in that protest, and other people work and and stay in home like me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Abdo, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm Abdul, and I'm living in Casablanca, Morocco.
Oh, okay. And how's that going in Casablanca? What's the weather like there right now?
It's great, really great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice weather. Okay, good. And Abdullah, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Okay. Are you still, you just finished up your exams, but will you start like a new semester soon, or?
Yes, I finished the mid-year exams on the last Thursdays, so I am in a vacation.
Vacation now. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great, wonderful. Okay, everybody, like I mentioned before, we're going to do reading. So I'm putting up the article in the screen share. And the way that I want to do it this time, since it is a little bit of a longer article and there is a little bit of, well, I don't know, everybody's at different levels. So maybe some of the words are more difficult for some people and then not for other people. But what I would like to do first is have me read the paragraph, and then I will ask somebody, one of the students in the class here, to read after I do. So that way you'll hear how I say the words first, and then that way you will be able to pronounce them also. And that also helps for people when they're watching the class later to get the proper pronunciation. And Kareem, I don't know what problem you're having. You said that you're not being able to open up the Google Doc. Is anybody else having any trouble opening up this Google Doc? Very
Yes,
creative.
I have.
Okay.
Yes, Lisa, I have that problem.
Okay. Hold on, I'm just checking to make sure that I'll change it here to see so that anybody can view it and see if that makes a difference. I do see that there are over 20 people looking at it right now, so
Yes.
a lot of people aren't having trouble. So I'm not really sure. So try that and see if that works for you. Also, I am going to leave it up here in the screen share, so if you want to just look at the screen, you'll be able to see it. I made the font bigger, 18, size 18, so that we can see it when I have it up there in the screen.
Yes,
Okay?
I see the screen now, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to start, and I'm going to read the first few things here, and then after I'm done, then I'll ask Manal to read the next part. Sorry, to read the same part. Okay, so here I go. There's no such thing.
Same part?
Yeah, you're going to read the same part because I'm going to read it first just for the proper pronunciation and so everybody can hear it, and then you'll have your chance for practicing. Okay?
Okay, right.
Yeah. So here we go. I'll highlight it right there. There's no such thing as everlasting love, according to science, by Emily Esfahani Smith. A new book argues that the emotion happens in micro moments of positivity resonance. In her new book, Love 2.0, How Our Supreme Emotion Affects Everything We Feel, Think, Do, and Become, the psychologist Barbara Fredrickson offers a radically new conception of love. Okay, Manal, go ahead.
Okay. There is no such thing as everlasting love, according to science, by Emily Estefahani Smith. A new book argues that the emotion happens in micro moments of positivity. Yeah, positivity resonance. So,
Resonance.
right?
Yeah, resonance.
Resonance. In her new book, Love 2.0, How Our Supreme Emotion Affects Everything We Feel, Think, Do, and Become, the psychologist Barbara Fredrickson offers a radically new conception of love.
So I'm just going to say this one again, radically.
Radically. Okay, radically.
Okay, and here the next paragraph says, Fredrickson, a leading researcher of positive emotions at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, presents scientific evidence to argue that love is not what we think it is. It is not a long-lasting, continually present emotion that sustains a marriage. It is not the yearning and passion that characterizes young love, and it is not the blood tie of kinship. Okay, Julissa, you want to read that?
Yes. Fredrickson, a leading researcher of positive emotions at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, presents scientific evidence to argue that love is not what we think it is. It is not a long-lasting, continually present emotion that sustains a marriage. It is not the yearning and passion that characterizes young love. And it is not the blood tie of kinship.
Okay. Blood tie. Okay.
Blood tie.
Yeah, blood tie. So here I go, the next paragraph. Rather, it is what she calls a micro moment of positivity resonance. She means that love is a connection characterized by a flood of positive emotions which you share with another person, any other person, whom you happen to connect with in the course of your day. You can experience these micro moments with your romantic partner, child, or close friend, but you can also fall in love, however momentarily, with less likely candidates, like a stranger on the street, a colleague at work, or an attendant at a grocery store. Louis Armstrong put it best in It's a Wonderful World when he sang, I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Okay. Hugo, you want to go next?
Okay. Rather, it is what she calls a micro moment of positivity resonance. She means that love is a connection characterized by a fluid of positive emotions, which you share with another person, any other person, whom you happen to connect with in the course of your day. You can experience these micro moments with your romantic partner, child, or close friend. But you can also fall in love, however, momentarily with less likely candidates like a stranger on the street, a colleague at work, or an attendant at a grocery store. Louis Armstrong put it best in It's a Wonderful World when he sang, I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you.
Okay, good. Fredricksons' Unconventional Ideas are important to think about at this time of year. With Valentine's Day around the corner, many Americans are facing a grim reality. They are love-starved. Rates of loneliness are on the rise as social supports are disintegrating. In 1985, when the General Social Survey polled Americans on the number of confidants they have in their lives, the most common response was 3. In 2004, when the survey was given again, the most common response was 0. Okay, Hazem, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and read that.
Fredricksons' unconventional ideas are important to think about at this time of year. With Valentine's Day around the corner, many Americans are facing a grim reality. They are love-starved. Rates of loneliness are on the rise as social supports are disintegrating in 1985 when the General Social Survey polled Americans on the number of confidants they have in their lives. The most common response was there. In 2004, when the survey was given again, the most common response was 0.
So it went from 3 here in 1985 to 0. Okay, so we'll talk about that after we finish reading. According to the University of Chicago's John Cacioppo, an expert on loneliness, and his co-author William Patrick, quote, you can say quote or you don't have to. At any given time, roughly 20% of individuals, that would be 60 million people in the U.S. alone, feel sufficiently isolated for it to be a major source of unhappiness in their lives, end quote. For older Americans, that number is closer to 35%. At the same time, rates of depression have been on the rise. In his 2011 book, Flourish, the psychologist Martin Seligman notes that according to some estimates, depression is 10 times more prevalent now than it was 5 decades ago. Depression affects about 10% of the American population, according to the Centers for Disease Control. Okay, so let's see who's next here. Frankie, would you like to read?
All right. So, according to University of Chicago's John Cacioppo, an expert of loneliness, and his co-author William Patrick, at any given time, roughly 20% of individuals, that will be 60 million people in the US alone, feel sufficiently isolated for it to be a major source of happiness in their lives. For other Americans, that number is closer to 35%. At the same time, rates of depression have been on rise. In his 2011 book, Flourish, the psychologist Martin Seligman notes that according to some estimates, depression is 10 times more prevalent now than it was 5 decades ago. Depression affects about 10% of American population, according to the Centers for Disease Control.
Okay, good. A global poll taken last Valentine's Day showed that most married people, or those with a significant other, list their romantic partner as the greatest source of happiness in their lives. According to the same poll, nearly half of all single people are looking for a romantic partner, saying that finding a special person to love would contribute greatly to their happiness. Okay, Daniele, you want to read? Daniele, are you there? Okay, I don't hear you if your microphone is on. Okay, Ahmed, how about you read?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
A global poll taken last Valentine's Day showed that most married people, or those with a significant other, list their romantic partner as the greatest source of happiness in their lives. According to the same poll, nearly half of the single people are looking for a romantic partner, saying that finding a special person to love would contribute greatly to their happiness.
Okay. But to Fredrickson, these numbers reveal a worldwide collapse of imagination, as she writes in her book. Thinking of love purely as romance or commitment that you share with one special person, as it appears most on earth do, surely limits the health and happiness you derive from love. Okay, Abdo.
Okay. But to Fredrickson, these numbers reveal a worldwide collapse of imagination. As she writes in her book, thinking of love purely as romance or commitment that you share with one special person, as it appears most on earth do, surely limits the health and happiness you derive from love.
My conception of love, she tells me, gives hope to people who are single or divorced or widowed this Valentine's Day to find smaller ways to experience love. You have to physically be with the person to experience the micro moment. For example, if you and your significant other are not physically together, if you are reading this at work alone in your office, excuse me, then you two are not in love. You may feel connected or bonded to your partner. You may long to be in his company, but your body is completely loveless. Okay, Abdallah.
Yes. My conception of love, she tells me, gives hope to people who are single or divorced or widowed. This Valentine's Day, to find smaller ways to experience love. You have to physically be with the person to experience the micro moment. For example, if you and your significant other aren't physically together, if you are reading this at work alone in your office, then you two aren't in love. You may feel connected or bound to your partner. You may long to be in his company, but your body is completely loveless.
Okay. To understand why, it's important to see how love works biologically. Like all emotions, love has a biochemical and physiological component. But unlike some of the other positive emotions like joy or happiness, love cannot be kindled individually. It only exists in the physical connection between two people. Specifically, there are three players in the biological love system: mirror neurons, oxytocin, and vagal tone. Each involves connection, and each contributes to those micro moment of positivity resonance that Fredrickson calls love. Okay, Manal?
To understand why, it's important to see how love works biologically. Like all emotions, love has a biochemical and
Physiological.
physiological component. But unlike some of the other positive emotions like joy or happiness, love cannot be kindled individually. It only exists in the physical connection between two people. Especially, there are three. Specifically, there are three players in the biological love system: mirror
neurons.
Mirror neurons.
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin and vagal tone.
Vagal tone.
Okay, vagal tone. Each involves connection and each contributes to those micro moments of positivity. Positivity resonance that Fredricksons, wherever his name, calls love.
It's a girl. Fredrickson. Barbara Fredrickson. Okay. Good. All right. So the next one says, when you experience love, your brain mirrors the persons you are connecting with in a special way. Pioneering research by Princeton University's Uri Hasson shows what happens inside the brains of two people who connect in conversation. Because brains are scanned inside of noisy fMRI machines where carrying on a conversation is nearly impossible, Hasson's team had his subjects mimic a natural conversation in an ingenious way. They recorded a young woman telling a lively, long, and circuitous story about her high school prom. Then they played the recording for the participants in the study who were listening to it as their brains were being scanned. Next, the researchers asked each participant to recreate the story so they, the researchers, could determine who was listening well and who was not. Good listeners, the logic goes, would probably be the ones who clicked in a natural conversation with the storyteller. Okay, so that's a long one there. Julissa, you want to read that one?
I will try.
Okay, you can do it.
When you experience love, your brain mirrors the persons you are connecting with in a special way. Pioneering research by Princeton University's Uri Hasson shows what happens inside the brains of two people who connect in conversation. Because brains are scanned inside of noisy fMRI machines where carrying on a conversation is nearly impossible, Hasson's team had his subject mimic a natural conversation in an ingenious way. They recorded a young woman telling a lively, long, and circuitous story about her high school prom. Then, they played the recording for the participants in the study, who were listening to it as their brains were being scanned. Next, the researchers asked each participant to recreate the story so they, the researchers, could determine who was listening well and who was not. Good listeners, the logic goes, would probably be the ones who clicked in a natural conversation with the storyteller.
Okay. What they found was remarkable. In some cases, the brain patterns of the listener mirrored those of the storyteller after a short time gap. The listener needed time to process the story after all. In other cases, the brain activity was almost perfectly synchronized. There was no time lag at all between the speaker and the listener, but in some rare cases, if the listener was particularly tuned into the story, if he was hanging on to every word of the story and really got it, his brain activity actually anticipated the storytellers in some cortical areas. Okay, Shaki, you just joined us. Do you want to read that paragraph there? Do you see it?
I'm in.
Okay, okay. Hugo, how about you go?
Yeah. What they found was remarkable. In some cases, the brain patterns of the listener mirrored those of the storyteller after a short time gap. The listener needed time to process the story after all. In other cases, the brain activity was almost perfectly synchronized. There was no time lag at all between the speaker and the listener. But in some rare cases, if the listener was particularly turned into the story, if he was hanging on to every word of the story and really got it, his brain activity actually anticipated the storytellers in some cortical areas.
Okay. The mutual understanding and shared emotions, especially in that third category of listener, generated a micro moment of love, which is a single act performed by two brains, as Fredrickson writes in her book. Oxytocin, the so-called love and cuddle hormone, facilitates these moments of shared intimacy and is part of the mammalian calm and connect system, as opposed to the more stressful fight or flight system that closes us off to others. The hormone, which is released in huge quantities during sex and in lesser amounts during other moments of intimate connection, works by making people feel more trusting and open to connection. This is the hormone of attachment and bonding that spikes during micro moments of love. Researchers have found, for instance, that when a parent acts affectionately with his or her infant through micro moments of love, like making eye contact, smiling, hugging, and playing, oxytocin levels in both the parent and the child rise in sync. Okay, I'm going to finish there because that's a new paragraph there. Okay, so that's kind of a long one. So let's see, the mutual understanding. How about Hazem? Do you want to read?
Yes.
Okay.
The mutual understanding and shared emotion, especially in the third category of listener, generated a micro moment of love, which is a single act performed by two brains, as Fredrickson writes in her book. Oxytocin, right?
Yeah.
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin, the so-called love and cuddle hormone, facilitates this moment of shared intimacy, and it is a part of a mammalian calm and connect system, as opposed to the more stressful fight or flight system that closes us off to others. The hormone, which is released in a huge quantities during sex and in lesser amount during other moments of intimate connection, works by making people feel more trusting and open to connection. This is the hormone of attachment and bonding that spikes during micro moments of love. Researchers have found, for instance, that when a parent cuts affectionately with his or her infant through micro moments of love, like making eye contact, smiling, hugging, and playing, oxytocin levels in both the parent and the child rise in
sync. Yep.
Sync. Oh, sorry.
That means together. Okay, the final player is the vagus nerve. So this is a nerve which connects your brain to your heart, and subtly but sophisticatedly allows you to meaningfully experience love. As Fredrickson explains in her book, Your vagus nerve stimulates tiny facial muscles that better enable you to make eye contact and synchronize your facial expressions with another person. It even adjusts the minuscule muscles of your middle ear so you can better track her voice against any background noise. Okay, they're getting pretty technical here. All right, let's see who's next there. Frankie?
Alright, so final player is a vagus nerve which connects your brain to your heart and subtly but sophisticatedly allows you to meaningfully experience love. As Fredrickson explains in her book, your vagus nerve stimulates tiny facial muscles that better enable you to make eye contact and synchronize your facial expression with another person. It even adjusts the minuscule muscles of your middle ear so you can better track her voice against any background noise.
The vagus nerve's potential for love can actually be measured by examining a person's heart rate in association with his breathing rate, what's called vagal tone. Having a high vagal tone is good. People who have a high vagal tone can regulate their biological processes, like their glucose levels better. They have more control over their emotions, behavior, and attention. They are socially adept and can kindle more positive connections with others. And most importantly, they are more loving. In research from her lab, Fredrickson found that people with high vagal tone report more experiences of love in their days than those with a lower vagal tone. Okay. Vagal tone. Ahmed.
Okay. The vagus nerve's potential for love can actually be measured by examining a person's heart rate in association with his breathing rate, what's called vagal tone. Having a high vagal tone is good.
Yeah.
People who have a high vagal tone can regulate their biological processes like their glucose levels better. They have more control over their emotions, behavior, and attention. They are socially adept and can kindle more positive connections with others. And most importantly, they are more loving. In research from her lab, Fredrickson found that people with high vagal tone report more experiences of love in their days than those with a lower vagal tone.
Historically, vagal tone was considered stable from person to person. You either had a high one or you didn't. You either had a high potential for love or you didn't. Fredrickson's recent research has debunked, that's a good word, so it made it false, debunked that notion. In a 2010 study from her lab, Fredrickson randomly assigned half of her participants to a love condition and half to a control condition. In the love condition, participants devoted about 1 hour of their weeks for several months to the ancient Buddhist practice of loving kindness meditation. Okay. In loving kindness meditation, you sit in silence for a period of time and cultivate feelings of tenderness, warmth, and compassion for another person by repeating a series of phrases to yourself, wishing them love, peace, strength, and general well-being. Ultimately, the practice helps people step outside of themselves and become more aware of other people and their needs, desires, and struggles. Something that can be difficult to do in our hyper-individualistic culture. Okay. Shaki, are you ready now?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Historically, vagal tone was considered stable from person to person. You either had a high one or you didn't. You either had a high potential for love or you didn't. Fredrickson's recent research has debunked that notion. In a 2010 study From her lab, Fredrickson randomly assigned half of her participants to a love condition and half to a control condition. In the love condition, participants devoted about 1 hour of their week for several months for the ancient Buddhist practice of loving kindness meditation. In loving kindness meditation, you sit in silence for a period of time and cultivate feelings of tenderness, warmth, and compassion for another person by repeating a series of phrases to yourself, wishing them love, peace, strength, and general well-being. Ultimately, the practice helps people step outside of themselves and become more aware of other people and their needs, desires, and struggles, something that can be difficult to do in our hyper individualistic culture.
Good.
You missed me.
I know. I'm going to go next to you, Abdallah. This will be yours. Fredrickson measured the participants' vagal tone before and after the intervention. The results were so powerful that she was invited to present them before the Dalai Lama himself in 2010. Fredrickson and her team found that, contrary to the conventional wisdom, people could significantly increase their vagal tone by self-generating love through loving kindness meditation. Since vagal tone mediates social connections and bonds, people whose vagal tones increased were suddenly capable of experiencing more micro moments of love in their days. Beyond that, their growing capacity to love more will translate into health benefits, given that high vagal tone is associated with lowered risk of inflammation, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and stroke. Okay, Abdullah.
Fredrickson measured the
participants'
vagal tone before and after the intervention. The results were so powerful that she was invited to present them before the Dalai Lama himself in 2010. Fredrickson and her team found that, contrary to the conventional wisdom, people could significantly increase their vagal tone by self-generating love through loving kindness meditation. Since vagal tone mediates social connections and bonds, people whose vagal tones increased were suddenly capable of experiencing more micro moments of love in their day. Beyond that, their growing capacity to love more will translate into health benefits, given that high vagal tone is associated with lowered risk of inflammation, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and stroke.
Okay.
Which the magazine you got this research from it?
This is from The Atlantic.
Can you write in the book, books, please?
Yeah, I will. I think it was up at the very top, but I can put it again on this Google Doc when we're done. We're almost done here. Fredrickson likes to call love a nutrient. If you are getting enough of the nutrient, then the health benefits of love can dramatically alter your biochemistry in ways that perpetuate more micro moments of love in your life, and which ultimately contribute to your health, well-being, and longevity. Okay, Manal, you still with us there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fredrickson likes to call love a nutrient. A nutrient?
Yeah,
Lisa?
nutrient.
A nutrient. If you are getting enough of the nutrient, then the health benefits of love can dramatically alter your biochemistry in ways that Lisa, what's what? How can we pronounce
perpetuate?
That what?
Yeah. So here, take it a little bit at a time. Perpetuate. Yeah. Perpetuate.
perpetuate more micro moments of love in your life, and which ultimately contribute to your health, well-being, and longevity.
Longevity, yeah, that means how long you live. Okay. Fredricksons' ideas about love are not exactly the stuff of romantic comedies. Describing love as a micro moment of positive resonance seems like a buzzkill. But if love now seems less glamorous and mysterious, and that's wrong, than you thought it was, then good. Part of Fredricksons' project is to lower cultural expectations about love. So that's one of her reasons why she's doing this. Expectations that are so misguidedly high today that they have inflated love into something that it isn't, and into something that no sane person could actually experience. Jonathan Haidt, another psychologist, calls these unrealistic expectations the love myth in his 2006 book. Okay, I don't know what happened to the part there. Okay, let me just see how much more. Okay, we're almost done. Julissa, do you want to read that, Julissa?
Okay. Fredrickson's ideas about love are not exactly the stuff of romantic comedies. Describing love as a micro moment of positivity and resonance seems like a buzzkill. But if love now seems less glamorous and mysterious than you thought it was, then good. Part of Fredrickson's project is to lower cultural expectations about love, expectations that are so misguidedly high today that they have inflated love into something that it isn't, and into something that no sane person could actually experience.
Okay. Go ahead,
Jonathan Haidt, another psychologist, calls these unrealistic expectations the love myth in his 2006 book.
Yeah, I think his book was called The Love Myth. All right, so the happiness hypothesis. I'm going to move it down there. True love is passionate love that never fades. If you are in true love, you should marry that person. If love ends, you should leave that person because it was not true love. And if you can find the right person, you will have true love forever. You might not believe this myth yourself, particularly if you are older than 30, but many young people in Western nations are raised on it. And it acts as an ideal that they unconsciously carry with them even if they scoff at it. But if true love is defined as eternal passion, it is biologically impossible. So they're saying that that idea of love is a myth. It's not true. Okay, let's see. Who wants to read that one? Hugo?
Yeah. The happiness hypothesis. True love is passionate love that never fades. If you are in true love, you should marry that person. If love ends, you should leave that person because it was not true love. And if you can't find the right person, you'll have true love forever. You might not believe this myth yourself, particularly if you are older than 30. But many young people in the Western nations are raised on it. And it acts like an ideal that they unconsciously carry with them even if they scoff at it. But if true love is defined as eternal passion, it is biologically impossible.
Biologically, yeah. Love 2.0 is, by contrast, far humbler. So it's more simple. Fredrickson tells me, I love the idea that it lowers the bar of love. If you don't have a Valentine, that doesn't mean that you don't have love. It puts love much more in our reach every day, regardless of our relationship status. Okay. Hazem?
Yeah.
You can read that one.
Yeah. Love point zero is, by contrast, far humbler. Fredrickson tells me I love the idea that it lowers the bar of love. If you don't have a Valentine, that does not mean that you don't have love. It puts love much more in our reach every day, re, re,
Regardless.
regardless of our relationship status.
Great. And the last paragraph says, lonely people who are looking for love are making a mistake if they are sitting around and waiting for love in the form of the love myth to take hold of them. If they instead sought out love in little moments of connection that we all experience many times a day, perhaps their loneliness would begin to subside. Okay, Frankie.
Alright, so lonely people who are looking for love are making a mistake if you're sitting around and waiting for love in the form of love myth to take hold of them. If they instead sought of love in little moments of connection that we all experience many times a day, perhaps their loneliness will begin to subside.
So subside means to go away. So maybe their loneliness will go away.
All right.
Okay. All right. So we went through that whole article there, and it was pretty long, and it's talking about love and the myths of love. So I'm curious now, Manal.
Yeah.
What do you think about the article?
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't understand the whole. I understand the summary actually, not the whole thing. But as a summary, yeah, I'm with her. I'm with her.
I'm not gonna. We don't have time to go through the whole article, but we could go through some of the main points that they were making about the love and this idea. So, Julissa, can you tell us one thing that this article is trying to tell us about this new research on love?
Yes, I think she says that love is not only that idea that we have, the romantic idea that love will last forever with one special person. I think she means that love can happen at short moments with different people, maybe our friends, our family, or even strangers outside.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't have to be forever. These are just short moments. And she also connects love with physical, biological, I think she says, biological changes.
Yes. Yeah. So that means it's not just something that you're thinking, it's actually stuff that's really happening in your body.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Right. That's good. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be just with that one special person. So, Hugo, I'm wondering, in Brazil, is the love myth something that people grow up with? Do you think that young people grow up thinking that they're going to find that one special person that they're going to love forever?
Yeah, sometimes I think so, but I believe the happiness hypothesis because I don't know, I feel like love is not a fleeting thing, you know. It's just because if love is about happiness, I think happiness is not just a joyful moment, you know. It endures forever or for a time, you know, in life.
Yeah. Okay, Frankie, what do you have any comments about the article? What do you think about? Okay, what would you like to say?
Well, I mean, I agree with the article because I think this is quite a chemical thing, you know. It's all stuff that is going on in our body, you know.
Yeah.
Even though here in Italy we are in Western society, so people grow up usually thinking about the love myth, but I don't really think this is true, you know. I think this is just something of, it's just kind of movie thing, but it's not really true. You know?
Yeah. So in one of the parts of the article later on, it said about this idea of the myth and that it's a buzz kill. So I think that's what you're talking about. Like a lot of times in different cultures, especially Western cultures, marketing people try to use this to sell things and to try to get you to
profits,
to make money, and it's perpetuated, which means they continue this idea through movies and songs. A lot of songs are written all about love and everything. Right.
And Lisa.
Manal.
I'm with the love meditation with Buddha that they made, because I believe that if you truly love yourself, you know how to love yourself, you're gonna let others loves you. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm with this meditation.
Yeah. Has anybody tried this type of meditation before?
No.
No?
I actually did.
You did, Mana?
I actually did. No, not for love, not for love, just for peace.
Okay.
I do Buddha meditation before.
Okay.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what she's saying, and of course, that's what the Dalai Lama talks about. If people are familiar with the Dalai Lama, who's the Buddhist leader of Tibet, he talks about this idea. There's been actually lots of research going on about meditation and how it affects your physical body and also your mind, of course, and how it can help people to be calmer. And it looks like here what they're saying is when you have that vagal tone, which is like the breathing and rate and stuff, then you are able to experience more love throughout the day. So I'm wondering if people agree with this idea that you can experience love with other people, even strangers, throughout the day. Ahmed, do you ever experience that?
Yes, maybe. I think maybe sometimes you need love, or you need to be loved by other. So maybe you are walking in the street looking for someone. Maybe maybe he's smiling to you, or
yeah.
Maybe yes.
Well, I think it's an interesting thing that she's saying, because a lot of times when we use the word love, a lot of people immediately think romantic love. So if you talk about like loving a stranger, you think, oh no, am I gay? Or oh no, am I going to have to leave my husband? Or something like that. But I think what she's doing is she's redefining the word love. So she isn't saying that that's what it means. It means those little moments, those micro moments where you just feel connected. So it doesn't have anything to do with sex or physically being attracted to somebody. It just means that little tiny moment where you have that sensation in your body, and she's calling that sensation love. So, yeah. Does anybody else? Joseph, you kind of came in at the very end. Did you follow along with the article? Did you have any opinions about it? Joseph? Joseph? Okay, what do you think, Abdallah?
I think it's so amazing article.
Yeah.
We knew that these things control the love, vagal tone, brain, and oxytocin. So
yeah,
the persons are under control of biochemical neurotransmitters. So we should try to raise our neurotransmitters by love and feel happy.
Yeah. So I guess for me, this is a word that you guys can learn today. Maybe if you don't know it, it's called a takeaway. You can say the takeaway for me on this from this article. So that means something that I'm taking away from reading this article would be that I could increase my ability to be more loving, and when I increase my ability to be more loving towards other people, then like Manal was saying, that it's kind of reciprocal. I will also experience more love from other people, and in that way, according to the science, is healthier way of living. So That's what I'm taking away. So you guys can think about that. Thank you for coming to class. It's actually over. It took a while to read that, and we could think about it and talk about it just a little bit. I'm actually doing the next class, which is a writing class, so maybe we can write a little bit about that, but I have some other ideas for writing too. Does anybody have any questions before we end this class?
No.
No.
No, no.
Okay. I wish you all loving kindness and that you have a wonderful day with lots of micro moments of love and resonance.
Yes. Good night. Thank you. Great lesson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.